Hello, and thank you for joining me. This is this week's book, and before we get stuck in, for those of you who are going to bail in the first 10 seconds, I'm not actually recommending it, some parish notes. So, the original intent of this series of videos was to kind of hold me accountable. Like, I need to really get serious about reading lots of books as opposed to poking at it, get back in that habit, and if I commit to reading a book a week and then generating a video, that makes it a public accountability, and shame is a wonderful motivator. So let's do that. And we've fallen behind. The reading, we've not been reading one book a week. Shooting the videos, editing the videos, we're behind on that one too. So next year, that is this year, 2026, I think the plan will be we'll do book of the fortnight. So every 2 weeks, a new book. And hopefully we'll get that done, as well as generate the videos for the books we've read. Okay, and the parish notes. All right, why did I read this book? All right, that's the next element, and it goes this way. A friend of mine said, I'm reading this book, I'm really enjoying it, and I'm like, well, we could have a book club of 2 people, so I'll buy it and read it myself. And her rate of reading, mine, they didn't always line up. So she might be ahead of me, I might be behind her, and we never really got into talking about the book as we read it. Not the first time, actually. Several years ago, a friend of mine was going to read Ray Bradbury's Dandelion Wine, and I'm like, great, I'll read it too, and we'll have a book club of 2. And she was actually reading it in Russian and struggling with it and gave up, and fair enough. It is a very good book. I do recommend it. But it is a stream of consciousness style of writing. And so it's kind of difficult to read in original English, never mind a translated version. I did stick it, and I enjoyed reading it. But like Mao Zedong, it took me about a third of the book to learn how to really read the book and just kind of like go with the flow. Stream of consciousness writing is something that I think can be really helpful, really very useful, but it is appreciably harder to read than a much more structured, broken into sections approach to writing and reading that we more typically use, right? Okay. And then a few years ago, another friend said, I'm going to read Call of the Wild. And I'm like, I read that in middle school. I should reread it. It's a great book. I'll read it too. And that one didn't work out because she is such a kind, empathetic person that the literal and figurative dog-eat-dog world of Call of the Wild, she gave it up. But I stuck it out. I enjoyed reading it. The copy I bought also included White Fang, so I read both books. And then followers of the channel, if you will, know that earlier this year, way earlier this year, 2025 this year, not 2026. Oh gosh. This is why my mother always writes a huge number of checks on like the first week of January to train herself to think of what year she's in. Smart move, Mom. You're way ahead of me on that one. So, we had the book club at the Scout Troop. That didn't really work. So I had a whole bunch of copies of Call of the Wild with a bunch of really cool short stories. So I've now read Call of the Wild 3 times. Right. Okay, so why am I not going to recommend Fourth Wing? Well, it could be summed up with a line right in the beginning. Here, let's see. Here we go. The following text has been faithfully transcribed from Narvanian into the modern language. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. It's lazy storytelling. That's the problem. There's this world, and there are dragons, and there are mythical creatures, and there's magic, and they're fighting this like existential fight, and the attrit rate does it. This academy 4-year train how to work with the dragon kind of program has a brutal attrit rate, and people are like, yeah, I'm cool with it. But other than that, it's like 21st century people in a mythical land. The months are from the Julian calendar, so Rome existed in some form before this. Magic it's just there to make problems not be problems. We need light. We have magic light strips just there, but magic exists to make the problem go away, like the Mad Magazine parody of superheroes in television with Incredible Plot Device Man, where this hero needs to get from here to there. Well, fortunately, there's a giant slingshot outdoor display as part of this sporting goods store, so I'll catapult myself off with it. Yeah, it's that kind of a magic just makes problems go away. But magic itself isn't a problem in the sense of, well, you have to have like rare things like unicorn horn or a particular flower to cast a spell, or it takes great study of magical tomes. It's there. And different people are endowed with certain magical abilities and all that. For all that the technology is primitive, it can't be that primitive. It seems like they have the printing press or something because they have a lot of books. And not a lot of talk about how people are laboriously copying them word for word by hand. The hero of the story, she's got a clock, alarm clock, in her bedroom. Clocks are pretty sophisticated technology. If you could talk about like medieval Renaissance clocks, they were like, well, Renaissance mostly, I believe, handmade. Like someone's taken a file to create the gears and the escarpment and all that. Versus, modern clocks were like, no, we just stamp the parts out and done. So, to my mind, the world there's only enough world created to tell the story she wants to tell. A lot of the stuff in the world just exists to make the problems all go away. My friend likes the book, so you may like it too. But I found it to be lazy storytelling. The world building was, sort of barely enough. Things just sort of happen. There you go. Now, one last thought before parting. One last story, if you will. Many years ago, I had a friend day with a woman, and she's like, hey, let's go see this seminar about the book that was part of the Arts and Ideas Fest. So I'm like, great idea, let's go. And one of the 4 panelists' day job was to review books, and she would get literally cartons of books every week. And she's like, oh, my local library does very well. Okay, but how do you sort out which books you're going to read, which ones you're not? And she said, well, one of the rules I use is the finger test. If I can feel the cover when I move my fingers over it, I don't bother reading the book. Yeah, this one's, we failed that test too. All right, well, thank you very much for joining me. I will try and catch up on this. I'll try and catch up on all the art books that I need to read. And I'm very grateful that you would join me. And I hope that these talks about books are helpful. Take care.